What's going on, people? It's Wednesday. So, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sergeant First Class Kara Wilson, and I am the Equal Opportunity Advisor for the Medical Recruiting Brigade. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but let's just start with, yay, it's Wednesday, okay? I'm an optimistic person. The glass is always half full. So that means that we're that much closer to Friday. So I'm stoked about that. But the message that I want to give today is going to be about inclusion and diversity. Don't scroll. Keep watching, because what I'm going to tell you might help you extend that influence so that way we can be an inclusive organization and have complete acceptance of all diversity. All right? So let's get into it. Okay. So way too many times in the Army, if you've served as a DoD civilian, and let's just pause and thank you all for all you do for this organization, or if you are a green suiter, a peer of mine, there has been many times where we have received some type of PowerPoint presentation, an email, a briefing, or something in a policy change, and then leadership just says, now go do great things, go execute. Well, inclusion and diversity is going to be a movement. It's not a light switch. It's not going to happen like that. So what are some things that we can do ourselves to change and to be a change agent in order to extend that influence of inclusive behaviors and actions and a complete acceptance of diversity? So the other day, here's my message, and it's kind of like a confession because I'm not perfect and I don't ever claim to be. But the other day, I was sitting in Kroger's after the ice melted at Fort Knox. And the self-checkout thing was packed full of people. Everybody was at the store. And so I go into the checkout aisle, and there's a gentleman in front of me who I'm pretty sure purchased at least 2 things from every aisle that the store had to offer. And the cashier, I promise you, was the slowest cashier I've ever seen in my adult life. Okay, so those are my circumstances. As I realize I have nowhere to go, I start reading the tabloids, and I see a woman come up with a cart right behind me. Now, we exchange pleasantries through our mask, and after I did that, my focus went directly to her cart. Here's a little background on me. I have never owned a cat, ever. And what I see in this woman's cart, I've never had really any experience with cats. My son is allergic and my husband's allergic, so we're just not cat people. So I have no idea what I'm looking at. And in her cart is mounds of cat food. I mean, to the brim, wet food, dry food, and I don't understand what I'm looking at. And immediately my head was like, oh, how many cats does this woman have? And after a while, I look forward, and the gentleman in front of me has still not had any progression in his checkout. And so I'm stuck. I'm stuck between the gentleman who bought the whole store and the woman who has so much cat food, I don't even know how to register it. And an avalanche of thoughts started coming into my head, and I had to stop it. So what I did to stop it was I had a conversation with myself, okay? And here's my confession. I said to myself, you know what? You know better. You don't know anything about cats. You have no idea what a cat consumes. You have no idea how many cats she potentially has, what her house looks like. You don't know any of this. Why don't you just ask her? So I said, excuse me, ma'am, good afternoon. She said, yes, dear. I said, may I ask you a question? She said, absolutely. I said, is all of this cat food for your cats? I'm a dog owner, so I have no idea. But can you help me understand, like, what's going on in the cart? There's a lot of cat food. Like, a lot. Like, you about to drop a couple $100 on some cat food. And she laughed and she said, no, my goodness, no. I volunteer for the local animal shelter. And after the storm, turns out the cats were the ones in need of the food and all the other animals were okay. So I volunteered to stop by Kroger and pick up all this cat food. I'm actually on my way there after I check out. And I was like, oh. Now pause the situation. In my head, I immediately started judging myself. I said, Kara, you know better. Come on. This whole time you're thinking this is some crazy cat lady, and really she's just a hero. You should be ashamed of yourself. So unpause. Of course I didn't say those things. I said, well, thank you so much for what you're doing in the community. We need more people like you. I checked out and sat in my truck for a minute and was like, man, I need to be better. Now, I need us to understand that our brains, our minds, are really our unconsciousness is prompted to make quick decisions when processing information, especially information that we don't have any knowledge on. And with that being said, I'm not asking you to walk around and ask everybody their business, but recognizing that your brain could potentially be placing an unjust judgment on a situation or a person, or stereotyping a situation or a person, you are that much closer in helping this organization become an inclusive organization and helping this organization be completely accepting of all diversity. And that's what I'm asking you to do. That's the message. So thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and let's get after it.